Hello, Family Meeting Podcast, and thank you for joining us. Another week of Payneful Cinema with myself, Sister Payne. And though Brother Payne is not with us this week, he is on a much-needed vacation. We are so very thankful to have Brother Walker with us this evening. One of two Brother Walkers. We have our brother Mel Walker.
Oh, Lordy. Lordy, I thought it was going to be the other Brother Walker. I got told at the last minute, no, that's you. I said, no wonder that picture looked so handsome. I did not know that it was me.
That must have been how that happened.
I was like,
nevertheless.
Go on, sis.
But nevertheless, we're excited for this week. Brother Payne actually wouldn't be able to do this episode with me just yet because he is still on his journey of Stranger Things. So he won't even be watching because let me say it right now, as we are all here together, this will have spoilers. As everyone may or may not know, Stranger Things seasons 1 through 5 has wrapped. It's over. Mm-hmm. And we have a lot to talk about. And I just want to make sure everyone knows we are not doing a full-blown synopsis. We're going to give some really important key points about the series and the sense of the storyline, but we really want to just be fans and have a really great conversation about our favorite characters, about family and friend dynamics, about the story, about the fact that this takes us back to the 1980s. So it is considered a period piece, though it's not what people normally consider a period piece. And we want to discuss one of the most important things about Stranger Things, and that is the music. The music. That is Brother Walker and myself. That's one of our favorite things about Stranger Things is the music. And I'll just say, we'll discuss season 5 at the very end, but just know Sister Payne was heartbroken.
Man, listen, hold on, because I know I put it up here.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I have to show y'all the way that my sister was all in Stranger Things right here. Wait, let me put us this side. Yes. Look at my sister. Look at this.
It is wild.
Crying. She was crying.
The ugly cry was so real.
Oh, wait, let's leave that up there. Let's leave that up there for a second.
And I'm okay with it. I am proud. I am a person who gets emotionally connected to characters, and Stranger Things has so many characters. Each season, honestly, I think they introduce like 2 or 3. You could take that off now. You're looking crazy.
It's just there.
It's just there. Oh, that's better. Definitely, introduces multiple characters. And what's so interesting about it is a lot of the characters that you end up falling in love with on Stranger Things, they're not even the main characters. And so we'll definitely, it's the crazy part. So we'll definitely have an opportunity to get into that. Brother Walker and I will go over some of our faves. But we will get you set up with a little bit. But first, Brother Walker, what is it that got you into Stranger Things? How did it captivate you?
I mean, first of all, let's talk about how that picture looked like we in slavery times, but I love it. But I mean, what got me into Stranger Things, honestly, was the nostalgia.
Yes.
Like it was the nostalgia of it, and it was just like, oh my God, I'm hooked. And then it was horror, so I'm like, oh my goodness, 2 things, nostalgia and horror. Okay, I'm in.
I agree. Yeah. And for some of you that don't know, Brother Walker, he understands the 80s nostalgia a little bit more than Sister Payne. I'm more 90s.
All right, calm down. We're not doing that. Calm down.
But I connect with all of it regardless. And the horror factor is great. And I will absolutely say per season of Stranger Things, you definitely get a lot of different genres within it. And the
Mm-hmm.
horror absolutely picks up between seasons 4 and 5. Um,
Yes.
for me, I just remember looking at Netflix trying to find something to watch, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, Stranger Things, that looks interesting. Because you didn't really get a whole lot from like the cover art initially. And so you
Right.
did have to just kind of give it a try. And I'll say I've heard a lot of people say, oh, it was so hard for me to get into it because the first 2 episodes or the first few episodes, listen, I agree. The first few
Mm-hmm.
episodes are they're a bit slower. Um,
Yeah.
but they're slow for a reason because there's so much to set up. Um, and again, there are so many characters. And the dynamics are, I think it was important that it was a little bit slower, but you definitely have to invest yourself. You had to invest yourself rather. And even if you're watching this episode, I still, and you've never watched Stranger Things, we encourage you to still go do it. Um,
Yes.
because even though we are able to cover it, there are still so many different elements because it is such an in-depth show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you're still going to find new stuff. So definitely encourage everybody to get into it. We will start with just a bit of a synopsis of season 1. We are set in Hawkins, Indiana, very small town in 1984, I believe it starts. And if you don't know what D&D is, it's Dungeons and Dragons. And
Mm-hmm.
it's a game. It is a fantasy game set in Middle Earth. And there's different characters, there's sorcerers, there's creatures, all sorts of things. Good
Mm-hmm.
evening. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Um, there's a lot of different elements to Dungeons and Dragons, but it's definitely that fantasy game. And so we start in a basement with a set of boys. Mike Wheeler, Dustin Henderson, Lucas Sinclair, Will
Mm-hmm.
Byers.
Okay, before you finish that,
Yes.
let's set a disclaimer right now. Okay, even though she said we're in the basement with a bunch of boys,
Ah, stop it.
nobody got kidnapped or nothing like that. Calm down, watch the show, you'll know what she's talking
There's
about.
no
Okay,
kidnapping.
sis, go ahead.
This group of boys, they're very young. So I think they're probably, I honestly think when the show starts, they're no older than maybe 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, they were very
These
young.
are kids, these are
Yeah.
babies. And they're playing D&D.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very clear just from, the imagery of it and the characterization that these are your boys that are not mainstream in school. They're
Right.
your nerds. And me personally, I absolutely connect with that. I understand what it's like to like things that other people don't understand. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think Brother Walker might understand that a little bit too.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't know about that.
yeah,
But go on. I
hmm
don't know about
we play D&D for wrestling. Stop it. And so,
that.
um, and so they're right off the bat, they're very realistic in the sense of you can relate to them. Um, we're in Mike Wheeler's basement. He's kind of like the lead and everything, in the sense of the friend group. We've got Dustin that has a mouth that won't quit. He is a smart mouth, with barely
Mm-hmm.
any teeth, and he's so adorable. Um, Lucas Sinclair is our signature black boy. Um, and and it's true, there are not many, but I think for the times it makes sense, right? It's 1984. We're in Hawkins, Indiana. Where's that?
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sure there are not a lot of black families, but Lucas Sinclair is our thinker, and he is the one that he's not always sure um about all the decisions that are
Mm-hmm.
made. And he will tell you that he's not too sure about all the decisions that are made. And I personally really appreciate his character because I was very much so that realistic kid growing up. Like, no, hold on, let's think this through because my mama said. Um, and then we have Will Byers. And Will is hello, sissy. Hello, thank you for joining us. Will is very much so that super quiet, character. He is the one that doesn't really come from much. So out of all of his friends, he's the one that doesn't really have much money. And
Right.
though Dustin comes from a single family home, his mother does tend, it looks as though she does have more money. But Will does
Mm.
come from a lower income family. His
Right.
mother Joyce and his brother Jonathan. Joyce Byers is played by the one and only Winona Ryder. You just kind of have to say that because it's important. Um,
Listen.
and yeah, and the whole family, honestly, they're very much so outskirts of the city, in
Mm.
characterization as well. And we're playing D&D in the basement, but it's time for everyone to go home. The boys get on their bikes, they split off, and then what happens is Will Byers goes missing.
Mm.
And then we cut to a lab, an unknown lab, that
Mm.
is in Hawkins. And we're seeing a young girl with a shaved head, very low cut buzz. And we learn that her name is 11. And we see very quickly that she has kinetic talents, and she escapes this lab. She's being held there by Dr. Martin Brenner, who she calls Papa. Um,
Papa.
Papa. And she doesn't really know much better. Erica, I can't wait to
We're
talk
gonna
about.
get to that. We're
Yes,
gonna get to
we
that.
are. Erica is that girl. Um, and so yes, so these friends are going to school the next day. Joyce Byers
Mm.
and her son Jonathan, her older boy, they don't realize right away that Will is missing because life is hectic and it's crazy. They do finally realize that he is missing when he doesn't doesn't wind up at school, and
Mm.
the search ensues. But at the same time, 11 is found by the boys. She's found in the woods, in the dark, in the rain, after escaping, Dr. Martin Brenner and his cronies. And she's found by Mike, Dustin, and Lucas, because I believe, if I'm not wrong, they are searching for Will in the woods.
Right.
And 11,
And
go ahead.
not to cut you off, sis.
Fine.
Stick a pin in that comment because
Yeah.
this is where my sister tears is gonna come out her eyes in that picture. Jesus Christ. Woo, Lordy.
I get invested. I get
No, I get it.
emotionally invested. It's just who I am. But yes, so they find this young girl wearing a t-shirt in the rain, and they take her back to Mike Wheeler's house, and she's in the basement, and she's not really talking. She doesn't really have much language, and it gives alien vibes in the sense of like she's
Yes.
not used to legitimate human connection, and so they're like, oh, here, change your clothes, put these dry clothes on. And she immediately gets ready to start undressing in front of them. They're like, no, go in the bathroom, find privacy. And she's like, and they're like, we're friends. She's like, friends, because she has no concept of what that is.
No.
And so right away, I think you feel for Elle because it's very clear that she's lost.
Yes.
She's lost in a way that we're dealing with two different children that are lost in their own sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so the search is on. The search is on for Will, but also the boys are hiding Elle in the basement until they can figure out what to do. Where does she go? Who does she belong to? And help her. And that's when the family dynamics really kick in. This is about as far as you got in the show. So that happens to a lot of people, Adina. That happens to a
And
lot of people. Yeah. So
and to
go
to
ahead.
piggyback off of that, a lot of people didn't really get the gist of Stranger Things because they felt like it dragged. And I'm like, you got to build the anticipation.
Yeah. Yeah. It's important. I think this is definitely one of those slow burn
Right.
series, especially in the very beginning. But it's like that because I feel like the Duffer Brothers, who are the creators of Stranger Things, there's so many characters and there's so many different elements to this. I think if
Mm-hmm.
you started it off too quickly, people weren't going to be paying attention to the story as much as they would probably just be paying attention to the action. And this is not that
Right.
type of show. especially because you're dealing with children. I think you have to build into things because you have to see it from their perspective. And these are some amazing young actors,
Yes.
amazing young actors. And each of them in their own way embodies their characters to where you really do get invested and you do have your favorites. And then there's so many more characters to come along. Mike also has two sisters, an older sister named Nancy. Maybe I'll slow burn this weekend with another. Please do. And then let us know how you like
What you
it.
what you need to do right now is not listen to the show, because you
Yeah.
need to watch it. You need to watch it because we're gonna.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of spoilers that's about to go down. So
There are going to be a lot of spoilers. So watch and listen at your own discretion. We have
right,
warned you.
right.
So yeah, he has two sisters. He has Nancy, who's his older sister. Nancy is very much so that bookworm that wants to be popular, but she's not really that popular. But she does get the eye of the popular guy, who is Steve
Mm-hmm.
Harrington. Um, and again, you know, with the older kids, Jonathan is Will's brother. So far away from being the popular guy. He's actually very awkward in the very beginning. He's taking pictures of people from afar. It's very weird.
Yeah.
But this is who he is. And if you get in touch with Joyce Byers, you kind of understand because she has that awkwardness about her as well.
Right.
And one of our really big supporting characters is Jim Hopper, who is actually the town sheriff of Hawkins, Indiana. And Hopper has his own things. He's dealing with the end of his marriage, the loss of his child to cancer. And so he is on the search for Will Byers. But what has happened to Will Byers is the question. Well, as
Mm-hmm.
Will is on his way home, um, yes, yes. As Will is on his way home, he starts being haunted, chased down by something in the woods that we later learn is called a demogorgon. Um,
Woo!
learn that these demogorgons come from somewhere called
Ha
the
ha! Upside down.
Upside Down. The Upside Down is literally just what it is. It is Hawkins, but flipped upside down, but it's underneath of Hawkins.
Mm, mm, mm,
And
mm.
he is running, he's hiding within the Upside Down from these demogorgons, and it's survival. He has a little hut in the back of his house that it's, you know, it's like his little hideout spot, and he's been able to find that little hideout spot but within the Upside Down.
Mm,
And that's when it starts to get real weird.
mm.
um and people start thinking that Joyce Byers is bonkers. She's already on the outskirts of town. You know, she's that mom with those two boys. She's working all the time. And so she's not always paying attention to certain things. But if there's one thing that I will say about Joyce Byers is when that woman pays attention, she knows her sons. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they're at home. They're waiting to hear from Will, and the phone rings. And it's Will, but he's calling from the Upside Down. And so pretty much she's channeling himself through this. And she's trying to explain to Hopper, who thinks she's nuts. They've searched everywhere. They can't find him. No, I heard him. He called me. I heard his voice. And so she's trying to find a way. Even her son is not even the older one. He's like, Mom, like, hey. She comes up with a way to communicate with her baby. And I'm going to tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
As a boy mom myself, absolutely. I
Yes.
get it. And Mel, you know, brother, you are a boy dad.
Yes.
You
Yes.
get it. There's just something about if my baby needs me, I'm going to figure it out. And if I know my
Yeah.
baby's voice, you cannot tell me that that's not mine. And that's pretty much what Joyce, that was her whole thing. She was able to come up with this really great communication system where she put up these Christmas lights. And as Will is moving through the Upside Down, he's able to communicate with her with yes or no answers. And pretty much he's telling
Mm-hmm.
her, danger. I am in danger. You were in danger. And at one point, he just tells her, run. Um, and all of this is tied into our lost girl, 11. Um, 11, because she has, she has the telekinetic gifts. That's a lot to say out loud.
Yeah.
Um, that's a lot to say out loud. Um, she is very much so aware of the upside down. Really, her presence in Stranger Things alone is all connected to the upside down. It's all connected to the Demogorgons. And they're pretty much attempting to use her as a weapon. The government has their hands in all of this, in this lab. And of course, when you have governments doing things, you're going to want to find small towns like Hawkins, Indiana, where nobody's really paying attention to certain things. And Lucas is the one boy out of them all who's like, I don't trust her. I don't trust her. She's in the woods. She ain't got no hair. She's not talking. I don't trust her. She's moving stuff with her mind. Her nose is bleeding. I don't trust her. But then there's Mike, who's just very much so enthralled with her, and he wants to help her. And Dusty is just down for the ride. And so pretty much to kind of bring that season with that, the big thing that happens here is we find that Joyce is told that Will Byers, that her son has drowned in a local retention pond situation, and she does not believe it because she knows she heard her son. And Hopper's trying to explain to her, I don't know about that. But then he starts to think about things and put things together. And mind you, Hopper's in a very dark place in his life right now, and he's drinking, he's taking some kind of pills. They never really distinguish what the pills are that he's taking, but you can tell that he's just not on his A game. But as the series goes on, as he becomes more enthralled and more just kind of entangled in trying to figure out what's going on, it helps him find himself a little bit more. And so you do get to see that process for him. Every character in the show, I think they did such a good job with the side stories of the main characters and making sure that there was purpose.
They made everybody feel important. They made every single main character feel important. And what I love about what the Duffer Brothers did as well, they made the supporting characters feel important.
Yes. And like I said,
we're going to get into that.
We will. Every season has supporting characters that you just fall for. And then there's some that in the beginning you're like, what's your purpose? And then by the time we wrap up at the end, oh, you had a purpose. You absolutely had a purpose, which I think is just another great thing that they did. But it does start. So the way that Jonathan does start to believe in what his mother's telling him about, Will being trapped, he's being a weirdo and he's taking pictures of Nancy. And she's at a small little house party with her friend Barb and then Steve Harrington and his two friends that are buttholes. And he's just taking pictures and he starts to capture a couple of images that look odd. And what ends up happening, the Barb is she gets estranged from Nancy during this party and she gets snatched into the upside down. And sadly for Barb, she does not make it out of the upside down. And that is really what gets Nancy and gets Jonathan and then also Steve into the whole thing, is they start to piece these things together. So you're seeing the kids piecing things together. You're seeing the adults piecing things together. You're seeing the teenagers piecing things together. And now you're like, okay, but when does this all come together for us to realize something is up? We got to figure this out. Hopper and Joyce, they're no longer believing that Will is deceased. They end up going to the morgue and they see Will Byers laying on the slab in the morgue. But when Hopper opens him up, there's nothing in there because it's not Will. Hawkins' lab has created this whole thing to make people think that Will has disappeared. He's drowned. He's dead. But they know that he's in this upside down. And that's when the fun really kicks in because we've got all of these people. We've got the kids starting to figure it out with 11. She's showing her powers more. They're trying to get her to acclimate. And so they're having to hide her. If you hear my toddler in the background, please disregard my son right now. He's with his dad.
Nah, don't do that. He part of this. What up, Neff?
But yeah, so the goal is to save Will. How do we get him out of here? And the teens actually come together with it. They end up in the woods trying to find where the entrance to the Upside Down is, because they're back into the woods where Jonathan was taking photos of Barb. And however,
The
the plan.
story was a bit drawn out for me. However, to the cliffhangers it brought were pleasant. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one thing with Stranger Things. Like,
Yes.
oh my God, like listening to sis talk about it again, I'm like, sheesh, I want to watch it again.
You want to
Like,
watch it again? I know.
yeah, like, cause
I
it's like,
actually restarted it.
oh, you did?
I
Nah,
did
it's
like
just,
a week ago.
yeah, it's just actually like the build up to everything, like being that we saw all 5 seasons, the build
Hmm.
up to everything that we know now. I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta go back now. And I
Yes,
gotta start piecing things together. Like, oh snap, okay.
absolutely.
That's what came. Okay, gotcha.
It's intense. It gets intense.
Yeah.
Nancy and Jonathan are able to end up trapping. They're able to trap a Demogorgon. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Hopper and Joyce enter the Upside Down because she's going to get her baby. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Hopper also gets so pulled into this because he's lost a child. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
my duty, not only as the sheriff, but it's my duty to help this parent not lose their kid too. Um,
Right.
and what we start to see happen is, as this goes along, the kids are trying to figure out, well, how do we stop this? And 11 comes in real clutch. They're
Mm-hmm.
able to pull Will out of the Upside Down, but only because our 11 sacrifices herself. And that moment alone, you're like, this is season 1. How are we already sacrificing ourselves? What do you mean?
Right.
How is that
Right.
happening right now? And it ends with Will now outside of the Upside Down. He's back in Hawkins, coughing up a slug, and that is, and boy, does that mean it is not over. Um,
Oh
um,
boy.
So to tie in some music with that first season, Should I
Mm-hmm.
Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. Huge, huge, huge importance in this show. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it is Will's favorite song. He and his brother sing it all the time. It was really big in the time that it came out as well, so it fits with the story. Also, to kind of help with that nostalgia, the way they built Hawkins, you really do feel like you stepped into the 80s.
Yes.
The buildings, the clothing, the colors, the sounds, the logos on food items. 11's favorite food that she likes to eat are Eggo waffles. So you get to see the 80s version of the art on the box of the Eggo waffles.
Yes.
It definitely, they did such a good job setting the tone for the 80s. I can't even like the thought process. The thought process was so deep. But the reason why Should I Stay or Should I Go is so important is because Will sang that to himself in the Upside Down to keep himself alive, to keep himself
Mm-hmm.
going. And I think it's so, it hits me because music means something different for me personally. It hits me because Should I Stay or Should I Go? He's trying to keep himself alive,
Mm-hmm.
and you're singing a song called Should I Stay or Should I Go? I think that is so telling of where his mind is. I'm trying to stay focused, I'm trying to stay alive, but should I just let this go? Because I'm
And this
already, yeah, in this dark place. I'm already an outsider, you
and
know.
this is where she at, y'all. And this
You
is
know,
only season 1.
get
Oh my
out.
goodness. Season 1 right there.
Yeah,
Look at that crap.
she cannot. It's an important song. Um, Another super important song for the time period is Africa by Toto. And I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if a lot of people know that song, but that was a really popular song for the times. So I think it
Yes.
really helped to set that, it helped to just set that mood. Um,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we kind of get the start of why music in Stranger Things is so important. We get it from season 1, and through each season, music plays such a big part, not just in atmosphere of it, but also in the story, which I think is part of the reason why I love it so much. For people that don't know, I have a degree in music, vocal performance, and vocal pedagogy. So for me, tying things into music, it just hits so different, especially when you can into the artistry of the way that the show is created. It just helps to take it to that next level. It's super important. And as we go through the seasons,
crazy. No, I'm sorry, sis. It's crazy
no, please go.
because, like, I know even for the trailers, this is what I love about this show and the Duffer Brothers. The trailers even threw you back in the 80s. I was trying to find. I believe it was either season 2 or season 3, where they were maybe I don't want to go too ahead of what you're talking about,
You're good. We're
but
starting on.
I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, when they did the Ghostbusters thing,
Yes,
was that
that's
season
season
2?
2. Mm-hmm.
I had the trailer, but I was trying to look through it while you were talking, and it
Yeah.
won't show me the clip of if it's that or not. I
Okay.
wanted to show it. It's like it takes you so far back.
It does. It does. I love it. So that's where we kick off season 2. So that was perfect. We kick off season 2. It is Halloween in Hawkins. The Will is back at school, but he's just not quite Will. You can definitely tell that he's dealing with a lot of things.
Let me see if
And
I can find it. Go
and
ahead,
that
keep going.
you're fine, and that does lead into a really big part of our season 2 story. As far as everyone knows, our girl L 11, now known as L, she has sacrificed herself. She's gone. And so the boys, especially Mike, is now trying to live life without 11. And he and 11 connected in a deep way. And you can definitely tell that as they get older, that it blooms into more. But what people don't know right away is in season 2, Hopper is actually hiding 11 for her safety. Which for me was such a big reveal. I was so like, oh my God, it's Hopper. How did we get here? And just a little bit about 11's background other than Hawkins' lab. 11, and we find out a lot more about this in season 2. For 11, season 2 and season 3, we found out about her origin story. Her mother, pretty much the community deemed her out of her mind because she was trying to warn everybody that they were taking babies and doing these experiments. And they absolutely were taking babies and doing these experiments. And 11 was one of those babies. She was the 11th baby. So if there's an 11th baby, that also means there has to be a number 1. We'll get there. But 11 also finds that before she was 11, her name was Jane. And as season 2 progresses and the boys realize, oh my gosh, she's alive, she's okay. We start to see the progression of 11 as a person, not a lab rat, but a person, a young girl. This is very much so a coming of age story for so many ages, which is so wild. It's a coming of age story for these children, for the teenagers, and for the adults, and for the town of Hawkins, if you want to think about it, because it opens them up to so much that I think the time period, they were living in a time where so many things got thrown under the rug and disregarded because it was faux pas. But with all of this happening in Hawkins, you can't really hide this type of stuff. And as we get into seasons 4 and 5, you'll definitely understand that. But the upside down has spread more into Hawkins because it is not closed. It is still very prevalent. But in season 2, because 11 is trying to find herself, she actually ends up leaving. She runs away. But before that happens, something happens in Hawkins. A mall has come up, a mall for the first time. And I think it's so weird to think about the invention of the mall, how that was such a significant thing. But because for us, well, maybe for me, you were probably there when the malls were invented, but for me, as a 90s baby,
bang bang.
every now
Woo!
and again I gotta get a jab in there.
All right.
But for me as a 90s baby, the mall was
Mm-hmm.
just something that we did. It was never like that big, oh my God, it's a mall. But for Hawkins,
Yes.
it's a huge thing. And so
Yes.
we have a couple of more characters that we get introduced to, and a couple more characters that have more story than they did in the first season.
Mm.
At this point, um, Mike and Elle have started a little love connection, a little sweet, innocent love connection. And
Mm-hmm.
it starts at the end before her sacrifice, but in season 2, it definitely starts to evolve. And we have the introduction of a very important character, and her name is Max Mayfield. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and she's first introduced as Mad Max, and the boys did not know that Mad Max was a girl. They just heard that around school there is this person named Mad Max that skateboards and is rough and tough. And then they
Mm-hmm.
find that it is this fiery redhead named Max. Um, and she has a brother, an older brother, Billy, but he is her stepbrother. He's not her biological brother. Um,
Right.
and he, on his own, is very troubled. They do not come from a healthy home environment, which goes back
Mm-hmm.
into our family dynamics. But the boys befriend her, and at first she's like, "Y'all are nerds," but she meets 11. And they become friends, and no one knows that 11 has these powers. And they
Right.
end up at the mall, and they get to have these girl moments. And it's nice for 11 because it's just been all boys up to this point, and so it's good for her to be able to have that girlfriend that's her age. But we also start to see
Mm.
something blossom that in 1984 was a no, and depending on who you are and how you feel in the world today, might still be a no. But our brown brother Lucas Sinclair, and Max start to realize, oh, maybe I like them a little bit. Um, but Max's brother is like, absolutely not. We're not doing that. He's black. Bottom line, he's black. Um,
Yeah, I was 8 years old around that time, so
yeah.
we gonna not let you get that jab in. So yeah, I was 8 in 1984. Keep going. Don't do that.
Okay. Well, I wasn't
Don't
here
do
yet.
that.
And so fine, it's no big deal.
I
Um,
mean, I mean,
it's,
go ahead, finish talking
um,
about our age. Go on,
since
continue.
we're talking about our age. But in
Yeah.
season 2, we start to really get into our side characters. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the main story in season 2, honestly, is everyone in Hawkins is still in the sense of our mains. They're still trying to figure out this whole lab situation. And Joyce has
Right.
a new flame in her life, and his name is Bob Newby. Now, listen.
Oh, oh.
Bob is one of the first supporting characters that gets you. He gets you.
Mm.
He gets you. And we also have Murray Bowman in season 2. And yes, Murray, I think
Murray.
Murray is such an important character because he brings that comedy to it that you really
Yes.
need. And you in season 1, that comedy was really very much so Dustin. He brought
Yeah.
that for you in season 1, but it's so important to understand Murray. Murray comes into this as an investigative journalist, and private investigator that's helping Joyce uncover Hawkins' lab secrets. And what we now know is the mind flare.
Mm.
And the mind
Mm-mm-mm.
flare is what we don't know in the beginning, but we know is what is keeping Will so detached from his people, from the people that he loves, from people that love him. And the mind flare ties in very significantly in seasons 4 and 5. Um,
Yes.
but we also have a wonderful entry into season 2 for our supporting characters. Um, I'm looking for the name. Working at our ice cream shop. In the mall. So in the mall, um, Robin, thank you. Robin. So in the mall, oh no, Robin season 3. Excuse me. We'll get back there. But for season
Put a
2,
pin in that.
we'll put a pin in that. 11 runs off in season 2. She's feeling very closed in. Hopper's not really wanting her to experience anything. He's afraid that if she goes out into the world, that, you know, if she goes out into the world, that she's going to get snatched up again by the lab. And so she runs away, completely runs away. And we start to get this this growth of her because she finds someone that's very much so like her. And that character's name is Callie, and she is number 8. And now here's the thing. Here's the thing about season 2. Season 2 for me at times felt very disjointed because a big part of season 2, you've got Hawkins, but then you have 11 off running amok where no one even really knows where she's at, right?
Right.
And she goes really dark. She starts wearing dark makeup under her eyes. Her hair is slicked back. She's wearing a dark blazer. Callie is teaching her to find the darker part of her, to dig deep into what her talents are. And they call each other sister because just somehow number 8 and number 11 have found one another. So if we have an 8, we have an 11, we obviously have others. And so that part of our story continues to develop there. And Callie's special trait, she is able to manipulate the mind and pretty much create these illusions. And they are very real. They can show you things, whether they're real or not, but to you, they feel very real. But meanwhile, back in Hawkins, everyone is trying to figure out, our mains are trying to figure out, how can we bring down this lab? What is going on? So they go into the lab, and they are pretty much, it's this big fight and attack. And we also get to learn a bit more about Erica Sinclair. Now, Erica Sinclair, yes, a great character. She is Lucas Sinclair's little sister. And when I tell you, a mouth, but she's not just a mouth. She's so smart. She's incredibly bright. She plays D&D as well, and she's actually a higher rank than her brother and his friends. And so she also gets roped into all of this. Now, one of the parents that starts to develop in character is Karen Wheeler, and that's Mike and Nancy's mom. Now, here's the thing about the parents in Stranger Things. Other than Joyce and Hopper, they have absolutely no idea what's going on. Okay? Right. They don't know what's going on. And I think that plays a lot to the times because, and I'll say this as a 90s kid, we were absolutely allowed to get on our bikes and go find a path. Go. Get outside, go play. But when the street light comes on, you better be home. At least that was my mother. So
Yeah,
you're gonna be in this house when the street light comes on. But Karen Wheeler, she's very much so that parent. She's a stay-at-home mom, and she also has a toddler at this time, the youngest sister, who we will get to see later on in the series. But she's just absent-minded about it. And her husband, Mr. Wheeler, he's not really paying attention to the family. He doesn't even really have much dialogue, honestly, throughout the series. He has his moments, but he is very much so that dad that I go to work, I come home, I have a wife, I have children. Yeah, I enjoy them, but I'm doing what I'm supposed to do type situation. And she gets bored. And Miss Karen Wheeler, she's a very attractive young woman. And we go to the summertime in Hawkins, and Billy is a lifeguard at the pool. And there's a little fling that happens. Now, be mindful of the fact that Billy is technically an adult. And it is also 1984. So that is not as much as a faux pas then as it would be right now. But he is an adult. He is at least 18. But we're still dealing with Will and the possession with the with the mind flare. And the whole point of them trying to get into the lab is to figure out what we can do to save Will, because by this point, he is possessed. This is not just, it's in my mind here and there. He is possessed. He is strapped down. It's very much so the exorcist situation for him. And that's when that horror for the show really kicks in a little bit there, because it is a scary sight, especially because he's such a small kid. And so to see that in that child, and to see the family trying to support him and figure out ways to help him through this is really intense. But that also plays into why getting into Hawkins' lab is so important. We get into the lab, but we find that we're not just dealing with demogorgons, we are dealing with demi-dogs. And these demi-dogs are wild.
Them dogs
wild. Wild. And all this while it's happening, 11 is still, finding herself. And we're, they're battling these demi-dogs, but they're also battling the people, the government, the military that's in the lab. And it is a big fight. You've got Joyce fighting, the teenagers are fighting, Hopper. We have Murray, he's doing his own thing, trying to figure things out as well. But Bob now also comes into the fold of this. And by this point, the adults and the kids are now working together. Which I think is a really important part, because there's been so many moving parts. It's really good to kind of start to see it meld together, especially because the more people that come together with it, the less secrets there are, and it makes it a lot easier. But from this also blooms another one of our supporting characters, Steve Harrington. And as the series goes on, Steve becomes the keeper of the children. And I love that about his character, because it is not what he wanted. All he wanted was Nancy. He didn't care about any of this stuff, but he became emotionally invested in it, and he develops a really strong friendship with Dustin. And it is very big brother, little brother, and it's adorable. And I really appreciate their relationship, and that grows as the series continues. But as everything is unfolding in the lab, the demi-dogs are just coming at it. They're coming out of nowhere. You feel like all is lost. What are we going to do? And then who shows up? Our girl. And you'll know what, when you watch it.
Wait, what was that? What was that? Yeah!
We know what this means. 11 shows up to save the day. There becomes this big tear, and she's trying to seal up the upside down so it does not connect any further with Hawkins. But while she is trying to do this, everyone else is fighting, and it does come down to fighting to the death. And we have a huge sacrifice that happens at the end of this season. Our wonderful Bob. Our wonderful Bob that we started to love. We appreciated his relationship with Joyce. We started to see his bond with the boys. Our Bob. And our Bob sacrifices himself and gets eaten up by them demi-dogs to make sure that everybody can get out of the lab safely. And that was, I think, my first tearful moment with Stranger Things.
Don't worry, I'm not going to put it up.
You better not. That was my first tearful moment.
But I'm going to be honest with you. We definitely got to shout out Sean Austin.
Yes.
He played that role. He played that role so good.
Yes. And Sean Austin is an actor, okay? He's been in The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. He is that guy. Wasn't he also Rudy?
Yes.
In the movie Rudy? Yes, about the little football player. So he's been acting for forever. And for him to be in season 2 of this rinky-dink show on Netflix was such a big deal. Winona Ryder on her own was such a big deal, but having him join the cast was so big. And I think it played a really big part in getting an audience for Stranger Things, because you're like, okay, they must have something going if we can get big names like this. Just to take him from us. But it's fine. It's not fine, but it's fine. I think sacrifice is a big theme that we have in Stranger Things a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like every season there's some form of sacrifice, whether it's an end all be all sacrifice or it is a sacrifice to get us to the next level. There's always going to be some form of sacrifice. We saw
Right.
11 sacrifice herself in the first episode season, though she was not gone. And then we also see Bob sacrifice himself. And utilitarianism in this show is big. We're sacrificing one for the greater good.
Yes.
And that is a big theme. And we have the snowball dance, which is a really big moment for Mike and for 11 because they realize as they dance back and forth that maybe we like each other.
Yep.
But also Dustin feeling like it's always so. Dustin, a big part of his character is he's missing teeth. He has an actual condition that the actor actually had, the condition where his baby teeth never left, and so they had to pull them all out, and then his adult teeth were able to come through. But he was always the most of the outsider out of all the boys in the sense of that, and always wanting a girl. And so Nancy shows up for him, and they get to share a dance at the snowball, and you can kind of start to see where those extra relationships start to build, because in what world would the big sister of Mike and his his best friend have that moment? So it's really good to see. It's really good to see that. And excuse me, I was incorrect. We enter the mall in season 3, because that is where Robin comes into play. So we enter the mall in season 3. So I'll just briefly go back over that again. Huge deal for entering the mall. Hopper is 11's L, as we call her now, is her person. And he is her guardian, and so he's allowing her to live a little bit. But with allowing her to live a little bit, he is not for this relationship with Mike. And I think one of the funniest moments in the beginning of season 3 is Mike and Elle will not stop making out. These kids are just sucking face, and Hopper's like, did you leave the door cracked? And they're like, yeah, it's cracked, but 11 is using her powers to manipulate it. And I really like to see Hopper start to develop into that father character. It's really great to see him that opportunity. And 11, she's never been anybody's kid for real. So it's nice for her to have that. Excuse me. Our boy Dustin has gone off to computer camp, and he is returned, and he has a girlfriend, but she lives a far, far away. And her name is Susie, and no one believes that Dustin has a girlfriend, but he's told them all summer long, I absolutely have a girlfriend. And with this particular season, we enter some really different things, different areas. We're still dealing with the mind flare. We're still dealing with Hawkins' lab in a different extent, but also now we are dealing with Russia. How are we dealing with Russia now? And I think that's
duffers.
Right. I think that's one of the elements of Stranger Things that holds people back from watching it sometimes, is because there are so many different moving parts to it. You kind of are like, how did we get to Russia? How did we get to Russia? But the Russian story part of everything, I really love that part. Because that's where Hopper really starts to show that he has to protect with this whole situation. And he winds up getting captured. But that's toward the end of the season. He winds up getting captured, but he is presumed dead. But season 3 has, again, our developing characters. We enter with Robin Buckley. So Robin is super important because she is working in the ice cream shop with our boy Steve Harrington, and he's actually got a little bit of a crush on her. They're working in the ice cream shop. Dustin is always coming by, but so is our girl Erica, and she is the best part, I want to say, of the leader of the girl group, oh, we want to try all the flavors of ice cream. You said 31 flavors. We want to try all 31 flavors. And she's just a nuisance, but she's the best nuisance. She's great. But the other element of this is we now have another possession, and that is with Max's stepbrother, Billy, the Mind Flayer. And the thing about the Mind Flayer in Stranger Things is as the seasons progress, you see more and more of it. Between seasons 3 and 4, what you pretty much see of the Mind Flayer, it kind of looks like you're inside of a body in a sense, but there's these tubes that connect, and it possesses you and it takes you over.
Ooh, it is going to play. It is going to come into play later. Please.
It's a big part. It's a big part of our story. And as the seasons progress, like I said, you can see how the Mind Flayer, you can understand why it's so important. Because we're getting closer and closer to our big bad. Because if you've noticed, we haven't seen the big bad just yet. We've seen the support of the big bad, but not quite the big bad. And so the mall plays an even bigger part, though, in this because we're going to have a big battle, and it does ensue in the mall. Robin gets pulled into the fold of all of this because they start to realize as they're using their walkie-talkies, because the walkie-talkies is another big component in Stranger Things. Since the first episode, walkie-talkies are big because you can pick up the radio frequencies, and that's how we get to Russia. And we have... they're able to start translating some of these Russians that they're hearing on the speaker, on the walkie-talkies, and they're understanding that they're in Hawkins. But where are you in Hawkins? The government has built underneath of the mall, and it's all connected. And then we get another one of our super important supporting characters, Alexei. And Alexei is a member of, he's Russian. I believe he's a scientist and he knows a lot about what's going on. But he's being held hostage by Hopper and by Joyce and by Murray. But he's one of those characters that you're not supposed to love him. But as that season progresses, you are so supposed to love him. And he's like, I'll talk, but I need a Slurpee. And that's his big thing, is Slurpees. And he becomes such an important character just because he's able to kind of help you guide through what's going on with the whole Russian side of things. But he just develops, he understands their side. And so he starts to help them on their side of things. And meanwhile, 11's trying to be a young girl. She's trying to grow. She's trying to develop. Max and Lucas are finally starting to warm up a little bit to one another, but it's definitely, secretive because he is Black. And that does play a factor. And I think I really like, it's 1984. When you're dealing with anything that's a period show, drama, comedy, horror, depending on the era, depending on where in the world, racism is going to be there. Racism is here now. So there's no way that you can have this show and not have that element into it. You're not going to tell me that you have this Black family, the Sinclairs, in this predominantly white town, and there's no prejudice. That's unrealistic. That's not, it doesn't make any sense. With season 3, we see a lot more of the bright colors of the 80s, the crazy outfits, the hair, the music again. But we're still coming of age. And so Lucas.
But you also gotta remember this too. I don't want you to pass this part yet. But you have to remember Lucas and Max, they grow up and they star in a movie called Jungle Fever.
Okay. So I can't.
Waka waka.
And it was so convincing, right?
It was.
Like, yeah, Brother Walker's about to be deep. He's about to say something.
And there goes Jamal. And there he goes.
But yeah, so Robin gets tied into all of this, and now Erica also gets tied into all of this because she's very smart. She's a
Mm-hmm.
science nerd, so she's very capable in understanding certain things. And in fact, I believe am I wrong? Is she the one who was able to help decipher the Russian?
I I believe yes,
I think
yes,
she was the one that was able to help decipher the Russian. And so those characters, those relationships are growing. Robin and Steve become really close. He's got a crush on her, but what he doesn't realize is Robin doesn't like boys.
oh
Um,
no,
and so she does have that moment with Steve where she's able to come out to him in private. And again, it's the elements of the time period. Absolutely
yes,
not in
like
1984. You
you
know?
don't under a lot of people don't understand. Stranger Things hit so many elements. Like, yeah, they hit the
Yeah.
horror, but they hit the racism, they hit the genders, they hit like it was like it you appreciate it more now
Hmm.
after you've seen everything. And like
Hmm.
I said, I'm trying not to go ahead of you,
You're
but
good.
after you've seen everything, you're just like, damn, is it really over? But go ahead, sis, because
You're good.
I'm about to
You're
put the cry face up.
good. Do not. Not yet. When it's time, you can. But
Yes,
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 so in that time, being a member of the LGBTQ plus community, it was frowned upon. And even now,
yes.
there's so many people who are like, no. So to be a young girl, a teenager in that small town, once again, um, it's difficult, and she doesn't have anybody that she can be open with. And so Steve is that person for her. And I
Mm,
really love their relationship. They've got a great friendship. And Robin
yes.
fits into that dynamic so well with the show. Um, it was
Mm,
almost like she should have just been there from the very beginning, but I think the way she was introduced was really great and when they did it. And if anyone
right.
knows, and for the life of me, her real name I cannot remember, but
I got you right now. I am
oh,
glad you said that.
thank you.
So, first of all, let's shout out Maya Hawk.
Maya Hawk. Last name Hawk.
Hawk. Ethan
Hawk.
Hawke is her father, and
Yes.
Uma Thurman is her mama. She was
Yes.
destined.
It's so cool. And looking so not knowing that in the beginning and then finding out who her parents were and looking at her again. Oh,
Yeah, you're like,
that's Kill
oh
Bill.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
You
yep,
look like you could have been in Kill Bill the prequel as your
yep,
mother's character. Um,
absolutely,
she's a great actress. She's so
absolutely.
good. She's witty.
She
She's
she
I
killed that role.
She
She
did.
killed that role.
She gets
Seriously.
you with the heartstrings. She's convincing.
Mm-hmm.
She's got the quick wit with it too. She's great. Excuse
Yeah.
me. And as the seasons go along, because we have 2 seasons to go after this, her character also becomes a main character.
Yes.
And that's the thing. You have some supporting characters that just stay supporting characters per season, and you don't see them again moving forward. Then you have some of those supporting characters like Erica, you know, like Robin, like Steve, that do become some of your main characters.
Right.
And they will travel, they go with you throughout it. But we get into this thing where um it's the significant time where we're battling and we're fighting the Russians, but then we're also fighting the Demodogs and the Demogorgons. And at this point, we also have a possessed Billy, Max's brother.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it all culminates to this big battle in the mall. And it's all hands on deck. But Billy, as he's battling on the sides of the Demodogs and the Demogorgons, he kind of has this moment where he kind of comes out of it a little bit and realizes that, oh, it's me. I have to be the one. And once again, with the realm of sacrifice, he is the one that is sacrificed. He sacrifices himself to save his sister and to save her friends, which is so out of the character of who he was in season 2 and into season 3. I really didn't see that coming
Mm-hmm.
personally because he was vile. He's not a nice character. Um, at all. He was a terrible bully. And again, it's the family dynamics and the fact that he didn't come from a good upbringing. A bully, a bigot, sexist, just not a good character.
At
But
all.
seeing him be able to do that, have that sacrifice for his sister, it takes a toll on Max. And we get into that in season 4, which is my
Hey.
favorite. But we also lose another super supporting character by his own people. It be your own people sometimes.
Oh yeah.
Alexei, our Alexei. Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
so our Alexei is, and he ends up being murdered by the Russians because he is now switched sides. He is now supporting Will and Joyce and Hopper and trying to help them in this journey with Murray as well on their side. And he's killed by Russian agents, which is so heartbreaking.
Mm.
And honestly, that scene, they were to put the scene together. They were actually at a local fair that the mayor had set up, and Alexei, they're all running through trying to get to the mall and fix this issue. And I also think because
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be an attack on the fair that they're trying to
Right.
stop, and he's taken out, and it's so sad. Like that,
And yeah, the way he was taken out was
yeah,
oh,
because it was
oh, it was
very
horrible.
Ricky. It was giving me
Yeah.
hood. We needed the
Yeah.
saxophones playing in the background for that scene. And
Yo, do you realize you just gave me an idea? I'm gonna create that. I am going to create that with saxophones, and I'm gonna put it on the next show.
man,
I will
the
have it for you.
saxophones were getting so loud for Alexi.
Yes.
Oh, please don't do it.
Oh
My
my
heart. There's my other sacrifice. You can put the image up. Go for it. This is the time.
God. You know what? You know what? You're right. You're right.
For
Hold on.
every
Let me.
sacrifice, you can put it up. Oh goodness. Alexi, the loss of Alexi, that hurt. Especially because, dealing with Bob, that you're probably not going to be able to keep all your supporting characters. But Alexi,
Yeah.
that hurt.
Okay. I don't. Well, I'm doing this from my phone, so for
Oh,
some
you're
reason
good.
it's not letting me get to it.
It's okay.
So.
But again, what we think is our big bad, and the battle ends. Our friends and Hawkins are saved once again. And Hopper, unfortunately, is presumed dead. But what we don't know, what you do know now, is that the Russians have taken Hopper.
Hmm.
But nobody knows that. They think Hopper is gone. And Joyce Byers says, you know what? I'm done with Hawkins. She packs up her boys and they
Hmm.
move. They leave. Excuse me. But a super important thing. There's a couple different elements about the season. 11 actually loses her powers in season 3.
Right.
It's a weakness that's within her that she's trying to overcome. And of course, Stranger Things has a formula. And the formula is always going to be at the last moment, 11 shows up. Okay.
Yes.
And that formula works because the Duffer Brothers have such a good job. They do such a good job of making you feel like all is lost. They do that
Hmm.
every season. And what's wild is every season you fall for it and you're okay with it. And I
Yeah.
think that's a talent, to just be okay with that. And then 11 saves the day, and she is able to regain her powers at the end of that. But this is another situation of all hands on deck. And we also get to finally acknowledge that our boy Dusty has a girlfriend. Um, because his girlfriend Susie is helping from afar. As I said, all hands on deck, I meant it. And because she's very good and smart with computers, she's able to help in the thick of things when it comes to the mall and being able to protect Hawkins. And there's a really great moment, and you find out, oh my gosh, Dustin can sing. And a lot of the actors that are playing the kids actually can sing, which
Yep.
I really appreciate. Because shout out to Caleb, who plays Lucas Sinclair. If you don't know, he also played in the New Edition story that BET did.
Yes.
Played one of the young
Yes.
members of New Edition and ate it up. Okay, if you haven't
Now,
watched it,
who
you
did
need to
he,
watch it.
I'm trying to remember who he played.
I don't remember. It wasn't Bobby.
I think it was
Was it?
Ricky.
I think it was Ricky. Okay, we're here. It was Ricky. It was Ricky.
Yeah.
And if we're wrong, Caleb, we're sorry, but we still loved it.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
And so there's this really cute moment where it's like, why are we having this moment? But you so need the moment because, again, it's that all is lost. But then the Duffer Brothers come in with a little bit of humor with the hope, and you needed that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they sing the never ending story, Susie and Dustin, and she calls him her Dusty. And they have this moment on the over the walkie talkies, and everyone is hearing this, and they're like, oh, you were for real. Yes, he was for
Yeah.
real. Dustin has a girlfriend, Susie. And what's crazy is Susie's one of those really great little supporting characters that you never see again. We
Yeah.
never hear anything else from Susie for the rest of the series, but she did serve her purpose. But yes, so Joyce and the kiddos, they leave Hawkins. But they also take Elle with them because Hopper is presumed dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we lead into season 4. And that's when it gets
Woo! Let's
okay.
go.
Season 4 is where our big bad finally emerges. And he is Vecna. Okay. But we start in two separate places once again. And I think it's important to talk about it because it is something that's very talked about a lot when it comes to Stranger Things. The length
Mm-hmm.
between the series and like when each season it's long. It's at least a year and a half. It took forever, y'all. They were children, and I mean prepubescent children. Season 1.
Mm-hmm.
By the time we get to season 4, the voices have dropped. These are grown people. And I think it's important to acknowledge the character. Listen, the actress who plays Erica, they do such a good job of making her look 10.
Uh-huh.
By season 4, I believe she was like maybe 16.
Yeah.
Just
Still looking young.
still looking young. They did a great job with that. Like,
Absolutely.
the actress who plays Max, she's grown. These are grown people. By the end of season
Yeah.
5, all of the young actors are now like 21, 20, 22. The teenagers are in their 30s now, the actors, and they're still playing these young roles. But honestly, they did a great job of keeping the youth look for
I
them.
feel like, and this is just my opinion. I
Mhm.
feel like the only one that really looked his age was Finn Wolfhard.
Jonathan?
Nah,
No,
Mike.
and Mike. Oh, yeah. So I think yes, excuse me. Yeah, I think with him, it's because he's always just had that, like, I don't want to call it awkward. There's a je ne sais
But
quoi
that's what
about
you
him.
have to talk. But that's what you have to call it. It was very awkward. Like he
Yeah.
was awkward. He was super awkward because
Yeah.
honestly speaking, if you really think about it, he okay. So for a lot of people that probably don't know, he was in It.
Yes.
He was in that movie. He was in the movie It or whatever,
Mhm.
and he that made me, and I can freely say this, that made me fall in love with his acting because I was
Yeah.
like, he's funny, but he's believable
Mhm.
at the same time.
Yes. And we will do a wonderful episode on the It films, on
Oh,
Pennywise, on Welcome to Derry.
I'm
Um,
gonna be on that one, not Reggie. I am. I
we'll make
will be
sure
on
that
that
Brother
one.
Payne knows that Brother Walker will also be on that episode with
Yes,
us. Um,
yes.
can't wait for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That's gonna be a
Um,
good one.
but yeah, season 4, we open up. Joyce takes everybody to California. They leave Hawkins, Indiana. Okay. They go to the West Coast. And 11 goes along
Hmm.
with them because she doesn't have, a guardian any longer. Um,
Hmm.
but that's the part. Season 4 is when we really do see it. Kind of reminds me of the Goblet of Fire and Harry Potter because it's when you start
Hmm.
to really see them age and the baby falls off of them and you start to see them, mature a lot. Um,
Hmm.
and 11 is dealing with mean girl energy in
Yes.
California. And she's trying to just be normal. She
Hmm.
doesn't want to use her powers. She's really torn up about Hopper because by this point he's her dad. Um,
Right.
and she's having a really hard time with him not being there. Jonathan and Nancy at this point have already cultivated a romantic relationship. Her and Steve ended their relationship, I want to say at the end of season 1, beginning of season 2. So he's dealing with the distance of that. And then Will is dealing with something all on his own that I don't think a lot of people expected. But looking back at it now, it was always there. He's dealing with being gay and not understanding himself at all, being frightened, being just so confused about it all. And you start to learn as the season goes along, because Mike ends up coming out to California to visit. Will and Elle start to develop a deeper friendship, but Mike shows up and Elle and Mike are still an item. And you see that Will has a level of jealousy because he likes Mike, his best friend. And that's a really hard thing. And I will say this, it's LGBTQ regardless. It's difficult, but especially in that time, especially for young men, it's about 10 times harder sometimes. And people can have their own opinions on that. That's my personal opinion.
But I also feel with that, and this is nothing against Will. Like, I feel like he really played that role.
Yeah. Well,
And you got to give him his. I know he actually is.
Yeah, he's
And
actually gay, but he
right.
played that innocent role of, I am lost. I don't know what to do, especially because of the fact that Mike is his best friend. How do you
And
tell your best friend that?
it's crazy to me because, watching it, I mean, you kind of knew.
Yeah, there were signs. Yeah.
And it was like, okay, I think he likes Mike.
We'll see
Like,
where it
I think
goes, but yeah, for
yeah,
sure. I agree. It's very, but again, it's difficult for him. He struggles with that, wholeheartedly struggles with that.
right.
But we do get introduced to, and my notes, oh my goodness, I just realized his name isn't here. We get introduced to a couple more supporting characters in California. Our pizza guy, are you able to find his name if you get a moment?
Oh shoot.
Yeah, he becomes friends with Jonathan because Jonathan becomes a pothead. And it's California, and that's always one of the stereotypes about the surfer boys, right? And finally, it's getting so deep in Hawkins, with still trying to deal with the new big bad. And this is when it gets scary, right? The fear in season 4, like the horror amped up significantly in season 4. We now know that our big bad, his name, our main villain is Vecna. And Hawkins is now very much so fractured in the in between, underneath. And Vecna is such a, you could do a whole episode on Vecna alone.
Yes, absolutely.
The layers in that character is wild. The actor, Jamie, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And let me, a little bit about him. I first saw him in Sweeney Todd, a musical, Johnny Depp.
Okay.
And he played a young boy who was in love with this young girl, and a beautiful tenor voice. He can sing his behind off. And so, and then again, he reemerged in one of my favorite vampire series, Twilight. I don't care how you feel about it, world. It's mine. And so to see him in this role was really interesting because Vecna is not just Vecna. He's also a character named Henry. And that's when we get into the lore and you get deeper into the history of Hawkins. Because this whole time, go ahead.
No, I was going to say shout out the Duffer Brothers in reference to Nightmare on Elm Street when they was talking about Henry. Woo!
Yes. Well, give us some more about that, please.
So they I'm getting excited. That's why I can't even talk about it. But when they was given the real backstory on Henry, not
Mm-hmm.
Vecna, Henry,
Henry.
they had a house that was so in reference to A
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare on Elm Street,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just sitting there and I'm looking, I'm like, why am I getting Nightmare on Elm Street vibes with this?
Yeah.
And as they kept going on with it, I think the father was, if correct me if I'm wrong, sis, but I believe the father was abusive toward him,
Mm-hmm.
just
Yeah.
as Freddie's father was abusive
Yes.
towards him.
There are
Like that
definitely.
was their nod.
Mhm.
That was
And
definitely their nod.
the dream element in season 4 is
Yes.
definitely
Yes.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Because
Yes.
Vecna emerges first in your thoughts,
Hmm.
in your dreams, especially when
Yes.
you're experiencing negative things in your life. So for a great example of that,
Sis, hold
um,
on. Hold
yeah,
on. I gotta stop you again.
yes.
Wasn't Robert England his father in that in Stranger Things? I think he was Henry's father.
Oh,
I
you're
think.
right. Yeah, 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 yeah. You're right. Yes, you're correct. Big nod to
Mm,
Nightmare on
mm,
Elm
mm,
Street in
mm, mm,
season
mm,
4. Huge
mm,
nod. Huge nod. It definitely is the dream element, that trope in for season 4. And
mm.
it deals with trauma too. A lot of the characters, supporting characters and main characters, season 4 is about trauma. It's about how you
Yes.
handle trauma, how you handle loss, how you grieve, mourning. All of that is season 4. So
Hmm.
as the kids are getting older, they're dealing with more grown-up situations, but how are you handling it, right? So
Right.
everyone is handling something differently. 11 is hurt about Hopper. She doesn't know
Yes.
how to process the father that I just found and lost at the same time. Will
Hmm.
is so traumatized with understanding his sexuality, he is
Hmm.
shutting down and doesn't know what to do. Jonathan is having such a hard time being away from Nancy and dealing with that
Hmm.
he's become a pothead. Um,
Hmm.
and then you have Max, which is um significant in season 4. Max's
Yes.
character really takes shape in season 4 and into season 5, but so deep into season 4. And at the end of
Hmm.
this, we are going to discuss the music and how that plays in, because
Mm.
that's where the music is always important. But season 4 is where the music is the story,
Really got
right?
important. Yes.
Where it is the story. And so, we still have Robin, we still have Erica, we still have Murray, but we also have Hopper. We find that Hopper is in Russia and he is in
Hmm.
some form of a prison where these prisoners are having to fight these demi-dogs.
Yes.
And Joyce and Murray are the two who were like, no, Hopper is not gone. Hopper is still with
Hmm.
us. And I'm trying to sum some of it up a little bit more because I don't want to take too much time. I want to get into some of the character stuff and music stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but we are, and also for people who haven't watched it, I don't want to give you every detail. But we are able to find our way back into Hawkins. We get Joyce back to Hawkins, Elle back to Hawkins. Everyone gets back because the big bad has been revealed. And
Yes.
one of our biggest supporting characters is Eddie.
Eddie.
Eddie!
Eddie.
Eddie is so important. So Eddie
Whew.
is a
Eddie.
3-time senior in high school. Sir, you need to graduate. he is
Eddie.
he is the king of the nerds, but he's that cool nerd that everyone wants to like be like in a sense.
Yes.
And Lucas too, and I'm gonna get into Lucas's character development for season 4 as well. Eddie and they create this club. And remind me off the top of my head because it is.
Hellfire.
Thank you. The Hellfire Club. And it
Hmm.
also deals with Dungeons and Dragons as well. And Eddie and Luke, and not Lucas, excuse me, Eddie and Dustin form this really strong bond, which kind of makes Steve a little jealous, which I think is super cute.
Hmm.
Because Eddie he's pretty reckless, but he witnesses one of the first moments of legit darkness with Vecna.
Hmm.
And it's with this girl named Chrissy. and her death reveals Vecna's method of how he gets in to the mind of people. And pretty much he takes your dark moments, and the imagery of how this goes down in the show, for me personally, I was like, oh, this is not for children anymore. Like, if you were like a young adult, or not a young adult, if you were like 10, 11, maybe you could watch it, but it was pretty gruesome. Pretty much,
Yeah.
you were suspended in air, and it's almost like Exorcist style, where you're contorted and
Yes.
your bones are breaking, and it's dark. And the
Yeah.
community thinks that Eddie, because he too comes from the wrong side of the tracks, they think he's
Hmm.
responsible for this, because Chrissy is
Yeah.
a cheerleader. But she goes to Eddie because I believe Eddie is her dealer.
Yeah.
And they think that he has killed this all-American girl, and he has not. It is Vecna.
Hmm.
And that also ties into Lucas and his character development a bit, because Lucas becomes the big man on campus. He
Hmm.
grows, he gets muscular, and he joins the football team. And so he's dealing with the popular kids that I want to be their friends because I'm on this team. And then also, or it's basketball. Basketball? I think it was
I think
basketball.
it was basketball.
Basketball. But then I also have my friends in Hellfire. I have Dustin, I have Mike, I have Will, who's afar. It's hard for him. He's definitely torn, because the people who
Hmm.
are his new friends are also the protagonists to his old friends. And
Right.
he's having to decide, where am I going? Where am I
Hmm.
going? So he's dealing with that struggle, while at the meantime, Max is dealing with the loss of her brother.
Yeah.
And she's dealing with it very difficultly because of the fact that they didn't have a relationship until his death.
Hmm.
And that's hard for her. And
Yeah.
she is at his gravesite regularly. And
Hmm.
she is listening to her music. And it is one song in particular that is on repeat. And it is our lovely Kate Bush. And the song is, hit it. What's the song, brother?
Running up that hill.
Running up that hill, running up that building. Listen, that song. So here's the thing, right? Kate Bush, for
Hmm.
me, I've always loved Kate Bush. I've loved Kate Bush since before people realized that Kate Bush is the original creator of the song "This Woman's Worth," not Maxwell.
Hmm.
I've always loved Kate Bush's music. I think she has always been talented, and again, the the importance of what Stranger Things can do to a culture, the way that song hit the charts again and shot up for Kate Bush is wild.
Yes.
Wild, okay? This
It
song
went
came
up
out in
so many
the 80s.
streams.
So many streams. And it is a
Yes.
great song. It really
It
is.
is.
And that song is, it's her saving grace, literally, because
Hmm.
Vecna attempts to get at Max. And there's this iconic scene from Stranger Things that you will see everywhere, where Max
Yes.
is in the cemetery, Vecna is in the midst of an attack, and she's levitating. And we know that after the levitation comes the death, right? The
Hmm.
bones are breaking, and the boys realize that the way to save her is the music, and so they get the headphones on her, and Vecna cannot fight through that, and it brings her back down, it levels her, and they realize the music is the way to save these people from what's going on with Vecna in this season. But with Vecna and Henry Krill, they're the same person, but Henry is who he was, and Vecna is who he is, if that makes sense. And you, as season 4, and we get into season 5, you get a lot of his backstory, and you
Hmm.
realize that he is from Hawkins. He lived in the house that they're showing you, that in the current, in season 4, it's all torn down, and it's dilapidated. Um, that is his home, his childhood home. And
Hmm.
there's a purpose and there's a reason why he goes for kids. Um, it's very, I think it's good for the
Dark.
It's very dark. It is. And I think it also, if you look at it from a symbolic point, it can show you how kids can go through things that people don't realize because, again, these parents are not paying attention, and how it can consume them. And before you realize it, it's too late. And I think that's a really big part, I think, of season 4. And if you think about it, when we get into Vecna and Henry in season 5, it happened with him too. Just not seeing what's going on. And so the team realizes how they need to fight the big bad. It's through the music, and they're trying. They are doing their thing. Everyone is back together in Hawkins. They're all teaming together. You've got Dustin and you've got Eddie in the Upside Down. They're battling the demi bats. Listen,
demi bats,
gorgons, demi dogs, demi bats, Vecna. It's too much. Okay, these people are hard out here. And they're battling all of these things. And 11 is still just trying to get her heart right. And the thing about Vecna is that's how he gets to you. And what we learn about Vecna in season 4, if there's a number 8 and there's a number 11, there has to be a number 1. And we find out that Henry and Vecna, they were number 1. And everything blows up. Okay, everything blows up. We have a big moment at the very end of the season, 2 big moments. We lose another super important supporting character.
Buddy.
We lose our Eddie, and we lose our Eddie because he sacrifices himself for Dustin. And I wish you could put the face up, but yes, okay.
I wish I could too.
That was it.
I wish I could too.
That was it for me in that season. It's hard, but we do have a reconnection. It was rough. And Dustin, I think for me, at that point, I was like, what else can these kids go through? These are babies, okay? Lucas, while Eddie is dying in the Upside Down, Lucas is trying to save Max because she's in this house and her body goes through almost all of that transition of the breaking the bones, and Lucas is fighting tooth and nail. Can you tell I'm passionate about it? It's fighting tooth and nail to protect and save Max. And Nancy, Steve, Jonathan come in clutch, and they think that they've gotten the big bad. They think that they've been able to destroy Vecna. Excuse me. But Max is in a coma. And this is how we end season 4, with Max in a coma, but also the government has come into Hawkins officially. And because Hawkins is now split, literally, physically in half. And you can see the Upside Down below. People are trying to flee the city. As Will and all of them are coming back into the city. It's big. The government is taking over. They've got people housed in the school, gymnasium. But again, you have all these people confused about everything going on, but there's just this core group of people that actually know what's going on. The rest of the world thinks that Hawkins is under some kind of some form of power plant sewage leak type situation. So it's very much so, it's there's those 2 elements of it, right? And so we end up with Max in a coma at the end of season 4. But Hopper does survive Russia. We found that out. There's a crack that has opened up in Hawkins, and Will gets the pricklies on his neck.
Oh boy.
End the season with understanding that this is not over, and Will Byers will be playing a significant role in season 5. Season 5, our final season. Now, just to talk about the build up to season 5, Mel, did we wait like 2 years almost?
Yes. Them kids got their driver's licenses already. They done got cars and
married,
houses and
adopted children by this season. Millie Bobby Brown. Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 11, by the time she filmed season 5, was married to John Bon Jovi's son, and they have adopted a daughter. These are grown people playing these teenagers, okay? And I think that's been like the running joke is that it's taken so long. They're grown now, but you still
Yeah.
have to appreciate it. Um,
But
because
you know
they
what? We
go
have to
ahead.
give them I'm sorry. We have to give them credit.
Yeah.
When they came back, oh my goodness. It's like they didn't miss a beat.
Yeah. And the Duffer Brothers, I was able to watch the documentary. There's a 2-hour documentary that came
I
out
still didn't see it
after.
yet. I have to watch that.
Oh, you
Yes.
have to watch it. So good. So good. Because it has so many different elements. You get to see the creation of the mind flare, which you will see the mind flare in season 5. You get to see how they did the upside down. There's so many different parts about how they made season 5, but then you get some
Mm-hmm.
really great sentimental moments of watching them grow up. If you could put the
Mm-hmm.
picture up again, yes, I was ugly crying. And this was from the
I
documentary.
wish I could.
Oh my God.
I can't. I can't.
I was ugly crying because it was so significant. So significant. I'm gonna find it and just hold it to the screen. Um, so
Yes.
significant. It really was. Here it is. Yeah, okay. This was me. Okay, guys.
Oh man. Listen,
Yeah.
folks, backstory to that. There's a whole backstory to that.
And there's a
I
series of photos.
yes, I called sis. I was like, "Are you watching this?"
And
She's
I
like,
was
"You
in the
what?"
midst of having an emotional breakdown, and he didn't know how to handle it at first.
I was like, "Oh, oh."
One thing about my brothers, they don't really get to see me get emotional and cry, other than on my
Right,
wedding day. And
right,
so
right.
he calls, and I was like, "Ooh, oh, oh, oh." And he was like, "Wait." But it was, it's all of the feels, man. Season
and
5 was
when
so intense.
and when sis gets into, because we definitely got to talk about the music for season 5.
It's next.
You are
Yeah.
not gonna look at these songs the same ever again,
As the
especially if you
kids
watched it. But
As
go
the
ahead,
kids
sis.
say, the Duffer Brothers did their big one. That's
Oh
what the
yeah.
kids say, and it's true. So we're starting off season 5. Our girl 11 is training. Okay, she's training because they know that this is not over. Hopper is
Hmm.
helping her train. She's trying to get quick speeds. She's trying to keep her energy up because she knows the big battle to defeat Vecna is coming. We've got Nancy, we've got Steve, we've got Jonathan. Nancy and the growth of Nancy Byer, of Nancy Wheeler.
Yes.
Nancy in
Yes.
season 1 was so annoying. Okay. She was
Yes.
mousy. She was a scaredy cat. By the time her friend Barb died, Nancy's evolution kicked in. And by
Yes.
evolution, I mean a marksman. Somebody gave her a gun and said, "Baby, shoot." And she said, "Where?" Okay. Nancy grew into this very much so like Billie Jean. It was just, I don't know if you've ever seen the 80s film, The Legend of Billie Jean.
I've skimmed across it. I
Okay.
know what you're talking about.
It's
Yeah.
one of my favorites from the 80s. It's not even like it's a great movie, like for real, like, but I loved it. And it's just
Hmm.
about this girl that says fair is fair, and no one is going to take advantage of me anymore, and I'm going to fight. And that
Hmm.
is who Nancy Wheeler turned into. She turned into
Yes.
that. Now, by this point, we have developed a relationship between Hopper and Joyce, which I love that dynamic for them.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that dynamic because Hopper deserves all of the happiness in life, and so does Joyce Byers. Um, and But because of the fact that they've moved again back from California to Hawkins, and Hawkins is under heavy military, I don't even want to say protection, just guard. They've got
Right.
town curfews. You really
Sis,
can't
real
go.
quick, let me
Yes.
leave. I'm gonna leave out because I think my phone is kind of freezing.
No
I'm gonna
problem.
leave out and come back in.
Cool, no problem.
All
um
right.
uh Hawkins is under this military guard, and Robin. And so with that, they have to be really discreet about what they're trying to do. um and Robin now works at the radio station. And so she is giving hints and cues through the music that she's playing and through the different dialogue that she's giving to tell, welcome back, to tell, you know, Eleven and Hopper and Joyce and all of the supporting characters when it's time to go into the Upside Down, when it's time to do all these things. Because we have to defeat Vecna, but at the same time, the story that's developing, because the Byers are now living at the Wheelers' home. And we're finally seeing a bit of an evolution in character with Karen Wheeler. And also the younger sister, the baby sister of Mike and Nancy. And what is the baby sister's name again? I'm so sorry. She's not in my note. Her name didn't pop up in my note. No, not Aaron.
No. Oh shoot, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
We'll come back to her name. It's okay. But little sister, again, it goes back into no one's paying attention to the kids, right? She has developed this imaginary friend. But what no one realizes is that this imaginary friend is actually Henry Krill. And so we get a huge development in understanding his backstory, because he snatches these kids, okay, from Hawkins, and he's put them in the mind flare, Mike and Nancy's sister being one of them. Meanwhile, Max is still in this coma. And at this point, it's been about a year or two. And she's still in this coma. And Lucas is still by her side. And I love that about him. He's still by her side. So all of these extra side stories are still developing, even though we still have our main story. And it ends up coming to a head when they start to realize the different weaknesses of Vecna. And we have another super important side character that we get in season 5 that we don't lose. And it is dipshit Derek.
Dipshit Derek.
Derek is a younger character, and it very much so sets up for what could be a new generation of Stranger Things between Derek and, you know, the baby sister. We get that.
I'm trying to remember her name.
I know it's killing me that off the top of my head I cannot right now, and I can't flip through my other notes right now. But we're able to get her. And so Vecna has snatched all these kids, unfortunately. All these kids, excuse me, my toddler is toddlering right now because it's bedtime. He misses mama. We're able to, you know, to develop that. And so with Henry, we find out the little sister is able to get into the Upside Down, but the Upside Down has so many different places within it. And this particular part of the Upside Down, Henry is able to trick these children into believing that it is a utopia of sort. But in reality, he needs them in order to take over. Pretty much, he's trying to take over the world.
Keep going, because I got to figure out what this girl name is. I'm sorry.
You're fine. That's his ultimate goal. But there's the scene where where Karen, you know, Karen, which is the mother of Mike and Nancy. There's a moment where her daughter is being attacked, the younger daughter. And here's the thing: by this season, she's tired. You know, she doesn't know what's going on. She's not paying attention. She's doing a lot of drinking, but she comes alive when her little girl is being attacked. And this is the first time. This is when, you know, she realizes that the little girl realizes that Henry is not a good character. Is not good. And the demigods, they come to the demidogs, excuse me, come to take her. And Mama said, "Not my baby." And Karen all of a sudden just ignites. And with her, it is a mother's battle for her child. And she's physically fighting. And if you would give me a moment to say goodnight to my baby, because I also am a fighting mama. Yes, baby, mommy's coming. she's fighting for her kiddo. And with fighting for her kiddo, there's an attack on her by the demi-dogs, and you think that, oh my god, they've just killed the mother and they've taken this girl. Come on in. And Aaron, come in. And from that, you find out that she actually does not die, but she is in the hospital and she's put into an induced coma because of her condition. She's been like pretty much just sliced through almost. And it's very intense. And so there's just all of these different elements. So she's in the same hospital that Max is in, but they're able to start to realize that there are so many different ways within the mind that Henry has been able to manipulate that they have to play the same game. And there's a lot of elements to this. And season 5 is so deep and so strong. I'm not going to give everything because I really do encourage people that haven't been able to watch it to watch it. But in the sense of, our main characters, 11 is doing her best. Hopper is really apprehensive about 11 fighting because he doesn't want to lose his daughter again. Dustin is rebelling crazy because he's lost his friend Eddie and he's kind of becoming the new Eddie. Lucas will not leave Max's side and he's doing everything he can to support her. Will is still dealing with his sexuality. He's also still dealing with the fact that there's something that he has to do in this situation. He has to be he plays a big part in this.
Okay. Whew. Holly.
Holly is the baby sister. Thank you.
Holly Wheeler.
Thank you. Holly has been taken by Henry, and so have a number of the children. Now, be mindful, their physical forms haven't been taken. It's their mental forms that have been taken. Their physical forms have been taken, but they've been taken to the mind flare. And we're finally able to see this big image of what the mind flare is. And it really does look like you're inside the body of, it kind of looks like a huge spider in a way.
Yes.
And everyone has their role that they are playing in this. And then we get, and it was funny, Mel, because as soon as I said, I see all this going on, but what did number 8 have to do with any of this show? We never saw her again. And there she is. She shows back up. And she is in Hawkins' lab, and they're still trying to run tests on her. And what you find out is there was a series of mothers that they took these babies, and they were trying to create more of these instruments. And Henry was the first, but it was all by accident for Henry. And so you really get to see these different layers of that character. You see the Vecna, what he's become because he decided to just take it on. You see him as the young boy because he was a young boy. Couldn't have been more than 10 when he stumbled upon this in a cave. But then you also get to see that you see Henry as an adult trying to persuade these children because he knows what he wants overall. He let the darkness take him over. But then what you also get to find is Holly finds Max in the Upside Down. Yes, and that's when you learn that Max isn't necessarily in a coma. She's in a dream state. And there is this magnificent scene where Henry realizes that they know that way to wake up Max is through the music. And Max is in her bed. Lucas is playing the music. They're trying to wake her up. Robin is involved with it. Robin's girlfriend also. Come in, baby. Is also involved with it. And what I love about this scene is, and you'll find this out when you watch the documentary, Caleb, who plays Lucas, he legit ran through that hospital carrying Sadie, carrying that.
Oh, wow.
He really did that scene, carrying her and the boombox, because the demi-dogs are trying to get to her because now they know. And it gets to this moment where they're in the basement of the hospital, and it's the all is lost story, right? They're hiding from the demi-dogs, and they're getting super close to them. And Robin is like, turn off the music. And he's like, I can't. She's almost awake. I can't turn it off. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's an explosion. The demi-dog gets blown up. And who was it that did it? Karen Wheeler. And I lost it. Cue
Mama.
the face. Mama Wheeler.
Cue the face.
Cue
Yes,
the
I
face.
will. Wait a minute. We need this full blown. Full blown face right there.
There is something about
face.
that mother's love. And because I can't talk about the mother's love and not leave my baby crying. Hold on. JJ.
So
come here. Come here. Come here. Come
so
here.
With Miss Wheeler saving them, and then she decides no, and then she decides to wake up. It's like, oh my goodness! Like,
yes, that moment.
It can't get no better.
You can't get any better. Max waking up. Karen Wheeler finally waking up. There's two awakenings in that moment. There's Max's literal awakening, and then there's Karen Wheeler's symbolic awakening of, is this what my kids have been going through this whole time? Where have I been? And in that moment, from the moment that she fought that demi-dog for Holly to the moment she woke up and killed that other one for other people's children. Mommy. Yes. Yeah, I know. Hi. From you saying hi. 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 Good job.
What's up, Neff?
From that moment, it just changed it for me personally, especially as an educator. I know what it's like every day to fight for other people's kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it hit me different to fight for your own kid, but then also to fight for other people's children. It hits different. It is season 5 was such a love story in so many ways to the series of Stranger Things. They really didn't want to leave. They really didn't. You can put your hat on. They really didn't want to leave any stone unturned, and I really appreciate that. There are so many supporting characters, though, in this series that it is really difficult to make sure that you hit all those points. But you singing, yeah. But I do think that they did their very best with doing that. What are you?
Ladies and gentlemen.
You've got your mother showing spirit, don't you? Huh? Yeah, okay. Okay. Well, you can't have that. You have your remote control. No. And no. And so thank you. You're welcome. And so it hits you in the heart. Season 5 has a lot of heart moments. You know, Nancy and Jonathan have a significant moment.
Yes.
Where they just admit truths to one another, because I think it's the end for the two of them. Steve and Dustin have a crazy moment where they realize just how hurt Dustin is about Eddie.
Yes, he never got over it.
And he never got over it. Exactly. So it's just, there's so many things happening at one time. It was wonderful. But at the same time, you've got 8, Callie, trying to convince 11 that, hey, the only way this is going to be able to end is if we're no longer here. And now 11 is having to deal with all of that.
Now, here's my thing with 8. Hi. As much as I wanted to hate her, when you finally realize why she was trying to get her to go dark, you can't go in there. You can't go in there soft against Vecna.
Correct.
You have to dig into that dark side and realize what you have to do in order for them to save Hawkins.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So it was really a love-hate relationship with her.
Yeah. And everything pointed to suspicious, right? But you're correct. It does make sense. And I feel like at the end of it, everybody had to be like, Sorry,
Yeah.
number 8. Sorry,
My
number 8.
bad.
But I'm going to say this. For the
Mm.
sake of not wanting to ruin the entire ending, we're going to stop right there for season 5.
Okay.
I think what we can do now, we can go into the music. I think that's important. Now, I will say
Oh
this
Lord.
about season 5, because we kind of do have to mention a little bit of it in the sense of the music.
Let's put Ugly Cry back up.
Put Ugly Cry back up. We do have to say goodbye to 11. And it hurt. And here's why. Because I did not realize, I always said, if it's Steve, I'm rioting.
Yeah.
If it's Dustin, I'm rioting. If it's Lucas or Erica, I'm rioting. I never felt overly emotional about 11 until, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there's Will, and we have to talk about this.
Yes.
The evolution of Will Byers in season 5 is everything, because it's in the moment where he finally finds his truth, he finally finds his purpose, and all of a sudden Will has powers. And the powers, in the moment that he has them, I was screaming.
Yeah, I went off.
Screaming. I jumped up out of the bed and was running around my room, screaming. It was so intense. It was so intense. And please watch it. If you haven't, please go watch it. They just did such a great job with it. And we do have 11 does acknowledge and understand the fact that her sacrifice is the biggest part of what needs to happen for Hawkins to be able to have peace. But
so with that, how we had season 4 with Running Up That Hill.
And we had a couple of songs, but yeah. Season 5.
The main song, my Jesus. The main song in season 5, folks, you will never listen to Purple Rain by Prince ever the same again. Go ahead, sis.
Listen. Just from you see, I'm not doing
no. Wait. I got you right now. Go ahead.
I'm not doing well.
Go ahead.
I'm not doing well. Oh. Listen, the moment that Purple Rain starts is so significant because it's the moment that 11 realizes Callie was right. And everyone else that loves Elle in that moment realizes what she's about to do. And everyone's losing it. Dustin is screaming.
Wait. I gotta stop you again because now I'm getting all choked.
Right.
So, sis, tell me you did not feel that moment once that first chord hit and they showed them in the woods, which we talked about earlier. When they showed them in the woods finding Elle for the first time.
In the
and
rain.
That chord hit.
Oh my God. Okay, stop.
Oh my goodness. Oh man.
I cannot.
Ooh.
The way that I didn't realize Purple Rain. Okay, so in music history, right? In music theory, orchestral music, there's something called a requiem, and a requiem is it's what you play to commemorate somebody as at their death. It's a requiem, right? I didn't realize that Purple Rain was a requiem until Stranger Things. I have never considered what that was about, that song, until it was time for 11 to sacrifice her life for everyone that she loves. And they started showing the flashbacks. And the lyrics, I only want to see you standing in that purple rain. Look, it means something different now. And I was so thrown off. There are literally, y'all, I took a series of photos of myself in the midst of in the midst of all of this, because y'all, okay, listen, okay.
You didn't show me that one. You
It's
did not
real.
show me that one.
Listen, okay.
Oh,
I am tore up. I don't have a problem showing my ugly cry because I am
no,
cute.
it is all
Tore
good.
up.
Listen, you want me to tell you what got me, sis? If you being open, I'm gonna be open with you.
Be open, brother.
The way when, like, as you was just saying, when they was all realizing what Elle was about to do,
Yes.
and that guitar riff, it still gets me now. It
Yeah.
used to get me before too. Not to make it sadder, but that was my mother's favorite song. God bless her soul, may she rest.
Amen.
My mother loved Purple Rain. So when that guitar part came up,
Yeah.
I'm watching that, and then I'm thinking about my mom, and I'm just like, oh my God,
It
I'm not going
doesn't.
ugly cry,
It's
but I'm
okay
an
though.
ugly cry.
It's okay. I listen, and that's something that Mel and I connect with. I lost my bonus mom.
Right,
And so,
right.
not my birth mother, but my bonus mother. And I understand what that feels like to lose a parent.
Hmm.
And so that connection, I absolutely
Yes.
understand that. I just never realized what that song could mean until and then 11 pulling Mike, into her brain to explain to him, hey, I have to go. I will always love you. You have to be
Mm,
the one to make sure they're
mm,
okay.
mm.
Dustin was just a hollering. It was too much, y'all. It really
Yeah,
was. It was too
yeah.
much. But it was so, oh my gosh. And they also did When Doves Cry. Like the Duffer
Hmm.
Brothers pulling Prince out for this was so not on my bingo card. Like,
No, but it
so let's
was
talk about some
perfect.
of the other songs from the other seasons, right? We talked about
Absolutely.
season 1. Season 2, Cyndi Lauper, Time After Time. Huge for
Yes,
the time period, right? One of my favorite
yes,
songs in
yes.
general.
Absolutely.
Every Breath You Take by The Police. Super important,
Hmm.
right? Rock You Like a Hurricane, okay? Whip It, okay? So
Hmm.
season 3, Material Girl by Madonna, because we're seeing
Hmm.
11 grow into her femininity, right? Um,
Hmm.
Cold as Ice, Move in Stereo by The Cars. Season 4, Running Up That Hill, A Deal with God, because literally Max's whole thing is let it be me and bring Billy back, okay?
Hmm.
If you really listen to that song, it's the song about someone pleading to please take me and let them live, okay?
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
it's deep, okay? There's so many things with that. And then you get to season 5 and we get Prince, When Doves
Oh
Cry,
my God.
and
Mm.
Purple Rain, y'all.
I
And
tell you, I'm getting goosebumps all over again.
it's
Just
intense.
thinking about that riff and
Yes. Oh my gosh. The and
rest in
hold
peace to
on.
Prince. Jesus Christ.
Because the first
Whew.
line in Purple Rain, I never meant to cause you any sorrow.
Hmm.
Hey, and
Hmm.
that's pretty much what she's telling Mike.
Yeah.
I never meant to cause you any pain. I only wanted one time to see you laughing. I only wanted to see you laughing in that purple rain.
Mm.
Y'all, the big one was
Mm.
done. The big one was done. I can't explain really honestly. And excuse me, 1984 is when the series wrapped in the sense of that time. So
Yeah.
it started before 1984. So I think it was like maybe 1980, 81, something to that
Hmm.
effect. Um, Such a great selection that I didn't know I needed. I did not know that I was going to need to listen to Prince Purple Rain as I watched the end of this 5-season series with these kids that I've watched turn into adults. I didn't know I needed that,
Hmm.
but I needed that. Um, I'm just really appreciative of the Duffer Brothers, just for the series in general, but also the way they put their thought into the music. That was so necessary. And I don't think there's any way better to end this conversation than with talking about the music, because
Yeah.
It was needed. It was so needed. Please watch it. And even if, you're like, I really don't think it's still going to be for me, that's fine. Can you at least just go watch that scene?
Yes.
Do that for me. Do that for her. Okay? I need you, because let me show y'all the final shot that I took of myself. When I say I was spent, okay? I was spent. By the end of it, this was me spent. Oh, I was so spent.
Oh man, nah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Listen,
so it was great.
Man, I went to work the next day. I was like, I just need a moment. I just need a moment.
Well, because I think I posted a Facebook status after I finished it, because it was December 31st. It was New Year's Eve, and I remember saying, "Y'all really want me to bring in the new year after watching that? I'm supposed to shout and drink champagne and count backwards? Are you serious? There's no way." And I really, honestly, y'all, I was so emotionally shot. I fell asleep till 11:57 and woke up just in time to ring in the new year. My heart was done. But to wrap us up, I want to say thank you to Brother Mel Walker for joining.
Of course, sis. You already know.
This Stranger Things is so much to cover, and we didn't cover everything, which is wild. And this was a 2-hour episode of Payneful Cinema. So for some of you, it may have been painful, but we enjoyed it. And I hope that the people who are fans of Stranger Things, I hope that you appreciate the conversation that we were able to have here tonight. And for those of you who may not be a fan of Stranger Things, I hope that you give it another opportunity. Get past the first 2 episodes, because they need it to be slow.
Give it a chance.
I promise you won't be disappointed. And if you're disappointed, you can cuss me out, not to my face.
Nah, you ain't gonna do it. Listen, she got too many brothers. Too many brothers. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But I really thank you guys for joining us on Payneful Cinema tonight. This is our second installment of Payneful Cinema. We're hoping to start our bi-monthly or monthly series coming up of franchises, and I'm hoping we're going to be able to start with the Conjuring franchise, and that will not be with Brother Payne, because Brother Payne does not do the demons, but Brother Nappy does.
Oh yeah.
And so if you know Brother Nap, he has his show, The Nap Pack, and he will be joining me to talk about the Conjuring franchise that we just learned is having another coming out, though this last one was supposed to be the last one. We now have a prequel being released. So we'll talk about all of that on our next installment here, and maybe the next week or two, while Brother Payne is on his well-needed vacation.
Absolutely.
But from the Family Meeting Podcast, my family, his family, our family, to yours, thank you for joining us on Payneful Cinema with Brother Payne, Sister Payne, and tonight, Brother Mel Walker-Payne. You are a pain.
Hey, whoa, calm down.
Pain in my rear. No, I.
Hey, you know what it is.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us tonight, and we are signing off.